Reginald. Thank you for inviting me.
You can call me Reggie.
My fault. Thank you for inviting me on the show. I'm really excited to be here with you. First, I want to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody. Thank you for all of our soldiers and our vets who go out there and sacrifice their lives for us. We really appreciate you. We're in Baltimore, Maryland. Home to me, I was born in Harford County, Baltimore, raised in Harford County. Went to Joppatown High School, played basketball there, made a bunch of friends, that are with me to this day. And because of that, I really wanted to do something within that community. Therefore, myself and Reg, you are a part of it as well. College friends, hometown friends, we all got together and we decided to use basketball as a tool to go back to the community for our youth and teach them not only about the game of basketball, but, life in general, education and staying in school and staying out of the streets.
I appreciate that intro. And for you guys, I didn't mention he's the founder and CEO of Hoop Impact Sports and Entertainment. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
He gives back to the inner community where he was from, like he said, and it's just a good way to give back to the kids who may not have role models. They can look up to someone like Ryan. So Ryan, what made you start your own camp, and eventually it's going to be leagues and whatnot? What made you start this? What was your, blueprint, or who steered you into this direction?
Well, growing up, my uncle used to call my mom and my parents, really, my mom and my dad, and say, hey, bring Ryan down here. I have a friend who runs a basketball camp. He's Michael Jordan's right-hand man, but, his resume itself speaks for him. So he's a good guy. He has his camp called Achievement Unlimited Basketball School. Mr. Fred Woodfield is the founder of that, and the director. At first, he, stared off a little bit from being the director and just played a founder role, but he came back and now he's both founder and director. And really, growing up in that camp made me excited because I seen somebody who wasn't in the NBA, but still did everything that he wanted to do as far as his goals and his dreams. He always said it's like you have a 1 in a million chance to get into the NBA. So what's your backup plan, or what are you going to do even if you go in the NBA and, the ball stops? You always need to have a plan, not really a plan B, but, a plan. And he stressed to us that, basketball wasn't everything. It is a great part. You can use it as far as you want, as far as you're going to let it, or it will take you. Yeah. And, after that, live your life. So he taught us the same thing that I'm trying to teach the youth up here. Basketball third after staying in school and getting a good education, or doing trade, working on a trade if you're an engineer or stuff of that nature. And then just staying out of the streets. I remember he said that, he had a few teammates that he grew up with that's no longer with him because, drug related issues. So stuff of that nature. And when I saw that there was nothing like that in the community, I'm going down North Carolina to work the camp that I grew up in that I just spoke about. And I'm coming back home and there was nothing back here in that, form of fashion. So I was like, we can do this.
So I've been a part of, there's been 3 camps so far, right?
3.
I've been a part of 2.
Yes, sir.
And from what I saw and what I've witnessed, the kids were very engaged. They loved coming to camp every day. For the most part, a lot of them got better. Some couldn't even dribble when they walked in. There's kids that still ask about us today, the counselors and whatnot, and when's the next one going to be. So let's backtrack and start off from the first year. How do you think the first year went, and in the second year and the third year, and what do you see in the near future for Hoop Impact and the brand itself?
First year was nerve-wracking because we never did it before. It was yourself, Red, you are Reg, yourself, Mel, Feek, a whole bunch of people from school and, like I said, home that came and decided to rally for this cause. And Reg, literally, we probably had 10 people sign up for the camp online. So I had about 20 staff members and we only had 10 people that signed up. But the first day we had about 50 to 60 campers there. So it was overwhelming, like where all these kids come from. And like you said, they wanted to learn. They weren't just there to play around or dribble the ball in circles. They wanted to know about the game, and they actually were more attentive than what I expected. So the first year when we launched it, I mean, it was a blessing. It was really an eye opener because you know that the game is in good hands. Anytime when people want to learn about the game, you know, like this game is going to go far. Then the next year, it was the same thing. I mean, it was better because I feel as though the staff that we had, we pretty much, it was our second rodeo. So we had already built friendships. We had a few more people that came on board, and then because of that, it was just great. Third year was tough. It was real tough. It was my first year, basically fresh out of college. Year 1 and year 2, we were all in college. We all, were full-time students, so we didn't have a full-time job. Third year, I couldn't really ask the whole staff to come back. Therefore, I ran it more of a clinical style. And that was where I could be more intimate with the campers. Previous years, one of our coaches, Rafiq, he will always say, "Hey man, like you need to be there because the kids want to like see you. They want to be with you." And last year, they had the opportunity to do that. I mean, I was with them from 8 to 4 every day, and it was really tiresome. But their energy just kept it going the whole week. This year, I think I'm gonna do it that same form of fashion, but it's just going to be on a smaller scale where I just do more one-on-one, or I have 10 campers or athletes that want to come to the gym, and I do clinical workouts. I think that's where training is going now, just really workouts. And then I want to do that going forward, but next year I'll probably have a big, inaugural or finale camp. But now I'm really trying to get into leagues. Hoop Impact has always been geared to the youth in the community. But, I have men and women who still love the game. Maybe they don't play college, they don't play overseas anymore or stuff of that nature, but they still love this game, and they're just sitting around just waiting for, an open gym. So I'm trying to give them the opportunity to come out and still, do their thing, show their love for this game.
Besides basketball, I know it's more than a game, like you said, but you want to teach them about life skills and whatnot. And I know you had a bunch of special speakers. I was one who you caught me off guard with, and I wasn't really prepared. But I delivered a speech. But talk about the people who you had speak to the kids and their journeys and why you chose those certain people, whoever you want to mention.
Well, I'll start off with you. I had you speak really because of our personal relationships, our conversations. So yeah, I did call you off guard and called you on the spot. But that was only because, like I said, our conversations that we had in the past leading up to the camp. And that's really what I wanted to show campers. Any guest speaker that I had, they had to go through or is still going through some type of adversity. And they showed that they can overcome, or they are overcoming. So yourself, being what most people would say like a undersized guard, but still, killing the conference. They need to hear something like that. How you didn't go to a college that should have recruited you, how highly recruited you, and then you went to Newman University and killed that team. So stuff like that, I really appreciate, adversity. And then I had Isaiah Fillmore, who, when he spoke, I really wanted him to speak on the actual work that you have to put in the game. He plays overseas. He didn't make it to the NBA, but he plays overseas, and the work that he puts in the game isn't easy. I don't want anybody to think that they just can come out on the court and just put the ball between their legs and throw up a three like Steph Curry, or just power their way to the basket like LeBron James, and lose in the finals. That we'll save that conversation for later. But but like the actual work that they have to put in, I think that's really big for them to get. And last year we had an officer come, and that was probably the most powerful, impactful out of all of them, only because I say this, the relationship and the tension right now between the community and officers is so high that when you have an officer come in, and I didn't really want to do it the way I did it as far as having an African-American officer come in, but I think that even helped a little bit more because the kids got to see somebody that looks like them, that serves their community. and his speech was more impactful and informative. He told them what to do when you are encountering an officer, and what not to do, how to conduct yourself. And it's sad that we had to have this conversation in 2017, but if we're going to have it, I would rather have it in a more, calm, informative environment.
So it sounds like it was a good turnout as far as speakers go, and the camp as well. In the last summer, the clinics. So do any of the kids reach out to you still, even though it's been 2 or 3 summers? But do any kids reach out to you and ask you for advice, or ask you to come to any games, or give you highlights, things of that nature? Do they still reach out to you?
Yeah, I actually one of our first campers. His name was Adam. I still talk to him. He plays for Hartford Tech. Jaquan. I mean, we talk a lot. We actually have a group chat on Instagram. I really don't want to give him my phone number because I don't want them things of that nature. But I talk to them. They can reach out to me any point in time, and they know that. And I want them to feel comfortable with that. But they reach out to me. I know pretty much all their grades. I know that I actually probably owe a few of them a pair of sneakers after this, fourth quarter is over for school. But, I went to their game. I was offered a coaching job at Joppatown this year. Unfortunately, because of certain things, I was just like, maybe I shouldn't do it this year because I didn't want to seem biased to the players who go to Hoop Impact and they say, okay, Coach Ryan is coaching for Joppatown. What about, the players who play for Hartford Tech, Aberdeen? So because of that, this year I said no, but maybe I'll do it in the future. But I talk to those guys and those young ladies, as often as I can, or whenever they feel comfortable, give me a call.
Yeah, I follow a couple of the kids on Instagram, and I see they're doing well. One kid who's from Philly, Meme Bryant, he's doing well in high school. I believe he goes to Archbishop Wood in Philadelphia, and he's doing really well. And for AAU, he plays for Kyle Lowry's AAU team, and he's doing well. That's one person I can think off the top that I always see on Instagram.
And not to cut you off, though, Reg, but you remember his story. His story was crazy. He had a friend who was just we told him, you got to cut him off. Like his friend was actually better than him in basketball, but he just had a horrible attitude.
Yeah, and I see, from the outside looking in from Instagram, it looks like he's on a better track as far as basketball. A lot of players do have tempers, and I understand that, but if you can control your emotions on the court and off, it's better for anybody, especially when you have talent that they do at a young age.
Yeah.
They're early on in their high school careers, and I just only see them getting better as they get older and more mature. And I'm glad to see kids are doing well that come out of the Hoop Impact community, because it not only does it give you credit, but also the counselors, the coaches, the parents who are involved, your parents, your grandparents. It just shows that we're doing something for the greater good. I'm not from Maryland, but you're my friend, so I feel involved doing this. So I feel like you're doing a great thing with Hoop Impact. I'm sure the kids appreciate it more than you probably know, and the parents who are involved, the guardians, whoever is involved with the kids, I'm sure they appreciate it, and I'm sure they want you to continue to do Hoop Impact. As they are getting older, there's still kids out in the community who need guidance. Maybe basketball isn't the way, but still you teach life skills. So I appreciate you for doing that for your community. And I know you've been talking about like taking it to like Trenton, New Jersey, like where everybody is from, and just taking it across, I ain't gonna say the world, but where your friends live. And I'm sure that's going to happen in the future. But going back to the league, what do you feel? Do you feel like it's going to happen this summer, and what days and what ages? How do you think that'll go?
So the league, with my former job, I worked at Free State Sports Arena. And when I was there, I really learned, league development, how to start a league, how to run a league, how to market a league. So I give, that job experience a lot of credit for that. That being said, I have a scheduled meeting for tomorrow. Hopefully, I get some good news out of that, and we can launch this league this year. Because, like I said, I know a lot of older hoopers that want to get involved. So theoretically, it's going to be an 18 and over league. I want to have 2 leagues though, one for competitive and one non-competitive, really just like a social setting. Because you don't want to really mix the two. There's people who come out here or will come out there and they want to they want to win. And then there's other people who want to come out there and they don't mind shooting the ball around. The biggest thing is to have a great time. And then the day, as far as the day, I'm really kind of praying on that. I like Wednesday or Thursday. I like it for the end of the week because it gives everybody something to look forward to on their work day. Like if I'm working on Monday and I know, look, man, I know this game is coming on Thursday or Friday. Well, not Friday, but Thursday or Wednesday. All right, I can grind out through the day. So I really want it to be something highly anticipated. And the people in the community, they've been asking for this for years. So I know it's going to be something of that sort.
Well, it sounds like it's going well. I wish you well on your interview tomorrow. Any closing remarks before we sign off of this episode?
Yeah, I just want, like I said in the beginning, I want to thank you, Reg, for this opportunity. Sometimes last year, I told the campers I wasn't going to do Hoop Impact because I think sometimes you kind of get overwhelmed with your everyday life routine and stuff of that nature. But it's always good to have that pep talk or that constant reminder, like, hey, this is bigger than you. I don't want anybody to say, oh, Hoop Impact is what Ryan Stokeling did. At one point in time, hopefully one day it'll be like, Hoop Impact will be his own brand and people don't even know who, the director of or the founder of Hoop Impact is. On the side note, I was doing research on the Drew League because I really didn't know who was the founder of the Drew League. You just know how popular the Drew League is.
Yeah.
That gentleman, he gets credit for it. But the league itself is a brand. So even when he can be long and gone, he might not be involved in it as much now. But you just know that the Drew League has his own brand. It's not that gentleman's brand. So hopefully one day, people will say, okay, yeah, Hoop Impact, and Ryan Stone's name won't even come up. And that's how I know that we're being successful. And another thing, it's just not the success on the court that I'm proud of our campers. We had a valedictorian graduate. So, I mean, that makes me more excited about that than, somebody getting an athletic scholarship. Both of them are great things, but I'm still excited about, the valedictorian who got a full ride to Prosper, but an academic scholarship. So stuff of that nature, I'm really proud of our campers. I don't take them for granted. Even my little cousin, it was hard coaching him, but, he's doing real good now. So I just want to thank everybody who was involved. We all have stock in these young kids and Hoop Impact, so it's only going to go higher from here.
Well, once again, I want to thank you, Ryan, for who's the founder and director of Hoop Impact. I want to thank you again for coming on my podcast and talk about your brand, your camp, what you want to do with your Hoop Impact. Excuse me. And I just want to thank you because you didn't have to do this. But once again, I want to thank you guys for listening in on Nightly Sports Talk podcast. I'm your host, Reggie Coleman, and until next time.